My name is Danielle Brooks and I am 28 years old. I never expected returning for family dinner to explode into chaos with my entire life crammed into garbage bags at the front gate. The black plastic sacks were stuffed full, my clothes, my books, my art supplies dumped like worthless junk under the evening lights. Mom stood there with my sister, arms folded tight, their faces stone cold and unyielding. No warning, no discussion, just Mom's voice slicing the air like a knife. "You're 28 now, Danielle. Get out and fend for yourself." The words hit hard, especially after my latest art project had just wrapped up a huge success with the community center buzzing about my kids' exhibition and my boss hinting at a lead role in the next program. But there was no celebration, no pride, only this ambush that shattered everything I thought was stable. I scanned their expressions for any crack, any hint of regret, but found nothing. Instead of breaking down, I forced a smile, grabbed my keys, got in my car, and drove away without a backward glance. 2 months later, Mom bombarded me with 33 messages. "Please come back." Little did I know that dinner hid a darker secret about our family, one that would push me to uncover the truth and fight back. Before I dive deeper into this story, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments what time you're listening and which city you're in. It's amazing to see how far these real-life experiences can reach and connect with people. Being the younger of 2 sisters in our modest 2-story home in Madison, Wisconsin wasn't easy from the start. My father passed away under suspicious circumstances when I was just 8 years old, a car accident that the police ruled as hit and run, but whispers in the neighborhood suggested foul play. My mother, Janet Lewis, had to raise me and my sister Michelle alone after that. Michelle was 12 then, already the perfect daughter in Mom's eyes, stepping up with straight A's and part-time jobs. Mom worked as an office manager at a local insurance firm, constantly drilling into us how she had sacrificed her own dreams to keep us fed and housed. "I've given up everything for you girls," she'd say during dinner, her tone sharp as a reminder of our debt to her. As the years went on, Mom's warmth faded into something colder and more calculating. She measured love by success and obedience, pushing us toward stable careers and relationships she could boast about at church gatherings. Michelle followed the path without question. She studied business at the University of Wisconsin, landed a job as a project manager at a tech startup in town, married a reliable accountant Mom approved of, and bought a condo in an upscale neighborhood nearby. They were Mom's pride proof of her excellent parenting. Me, I went against the grain, pursuing a degree in art education and taking a job teaching at a community center, helping kids discover creativity through painting and sculpture. It wasn't the 6-figure salary Mom dreamed of, and she made sure I knew it. "When are you going to get a serious career like your sister?" she'd ask over Sunday brunch, her words laced with disappointment. Michelle would chime in with backhanded advice like, "You'll figure it out when you have real responsibilities," treating me like the immature little sister despite my independence in college. Staying at home after graduation seemed practical at first. Madison's rent prices were climbing, and my entry-level salary as an art teacher left little for savings after student loans. "You can stay if you contribute," Mom had said when I moved back, so I did, paying $500 a month in rent, covering groceries twice a week, handling laundry and yard work, and even fixing her computer when it glitched. But the contributions never earned me respect. Family dynamics grew tense as I entered my mid-20s. Michelle's visits turned into judgment sessions where they'd discuss my lack of ambition right in front of me. "You need to think about your future, Danielle," Mom would say, glancing at Michelle's wedding ring as if it were a trophy. I envied friends who had their own apartments, dating freely without the constant interrogations about who I was out with last night. But familial duty kept me there along with the financial crunch. Things started shifting when I landed a major project at the community center, a 6-week art program for underprivileged teens culminating in a public exhibition. I spent evenings preparing lesson plans, sourcing materials on a tight budget, and rehearsing presentations. The exhibition drew a crowd with local news covering how the kids' artwork addressed themes like identity and resilience. My boss pulled me aside afterward. "This could lead to a program coordinator role for you, Danielle. Great work." For the first time, I felt validated outside the family bubble. I bought small gifts on the way home, a vintage necklace for Mom and a coffee mug with an inspirational quote for Michelle, hoping to share the excitement at dinner. But Mom's responses to my texts about the event had been curt. "Sounds fine. Dinner at 6 sharp." That afternoon, while grabbing my portfolio from the attic to show off the kids' work, I stumbled upon an old box tucked behind Christmas decorations. Inside were yellow documents, my father's life insurance policy, a handwritten letter from him dated just before the accident, and what looked like an original will. The letter was addressed to me and Michelle, warning about people close who might not have our best interests at heart. The will specified that the house and his savings, over $200,000, were to be split equally between us girls upon Mom's passing, or if contested. But I remembered the lawyer saying years ago that Dad left everything to Mom. My heart raced as I pieced it together. The signatures on the policy looked forged, and notes mentioned Gregory Ward, Mom's business associate, who had been around a lot after Dad's death. This wasn't an accident. It smelled like foul play for the payout. I shoved the papers into my bag, my mind spinning with questions. Why hide this? And why now, right before dinner, I headed downstairs, determined to get answers, but the confrontation waiting at the table would ignite everything. As I stepped into the dining room, the table was set with Mom's usual precision roast chicken, mashed potatoes, and green beans, the aroma filling the space like nothing was wrong. Michelle was already seated scrolling her phone while Mom poured water into glasses without looking up. "You're late," Mom said flatly, her voice carrying that familiar edge. I dropped my bag on the chair, the weight of the documents inside making my hands tremble slightly. "We need to talk," I replied, pulling out the letter and the will, laying them on the table like evidence in a courtroom. Mom's eyes narrowed as she glanced at them, and Michelle set her phone down, her expression shifting from boredom to caution. "What is this?" Mom asked, picking up the letter with feigned confusion. I didn't let her deflect. "Dad's real will and a letter he wrote before the accident. It says the house and his savings were for me and Michelle equally, not all to you. And the insurance policy looks forged. Who is Gregory Ward, Mom? Your business associate mentioned in the notes." The room went silent, the only sound the tick of the wall clock. Michelle's face paled. She knew something I could tell from the way she avoided my gaze. Mom slammed the letter down. "Where did you find this? You've been snooping in my things." I stood my ground. "It was in the attic, mixed with my stuff you probably packed away. Dad warned about people close to us not having our best interests. Was the accident really an accident, or did you and Gregory plan it for the payout?" Mom's composure cracked, her voice rising. "You have no idea what you're talking about, Danielle. Your father was careless, that's why he died. The will was updated legally, and Gregory was just a colleague helping with finances." But her hands shook as she spoke, and I pressed on. "The signatures don't match, Mom. I compared them to old cards Dad sent. And the letter mentions Gregory by name, saying he was pushing for changes to the policy. You had an affair with him, didn't you? That's why you hid the real will, to keep everything for yourself." Michelle finally spoke, her tone defensive. "Danielle, stop. This is old stuff. Mom did what she had to after Dad died. We were struggling." I turned to her. You knew about this, Michelle. You've been in on it protecting your share while I get nothing. The argument escalated fast. Mom leaned forward, her eyes cold. If you breathe a word of this nonsense to anyone, I'll destroy you. I'll tell everyone you're unstable spreading lies because you're jealous of your sister's success. You'll lose your job, your friends, everything. Her threat hung heavy, but it only fueled my anger. Jealous you've controlled us our whole lives, Mom, measuring worth by money and status? Dad wanted us to have security, but you stole it. The house, the savings, over $200,000 that was for us, not your secrets. Michelle shifted uncomfortably. I didn't know the full details, Danielle. Mom said the will was revised for our benefit. But if it's true... She trailed off, glancing at Mom for guidance, her loyalty cracking under the pressure. I gathered the papers, my voice steady despite the rage boiling inside. This isn't about jealousy. You've taken everything from me, my home, my trust, even Dad's memory. Now it's my turn to set things right. Mom laughed bitterly. You think you can fight me? You're the failure who couldn't even pick a real career. Go ahead, try see how far you get without us. Michelle tried to mediate. Let's calm down. Maybe we can talk this out as a family. But I saw through it her silence all these years was for her own gain, protecting the inheritance she thought was safe. The dinner turned into a battlefield of accusations, with Mom denying the affair and the forgery claiming the letter was fake and Gregory was long gone. But the evidence was undeniable, and her threats only confirmed my suspicions. As the shouting peaked, I grabbed my keys. I'm done here. You've lied long enough. I stormed out the door, slamming behind me, my mind racing with plans. In the car, I dialed a number I'd found online, a local lawyer specializing in estate disputes. This is Stephen Brooks, the voice answered. How can I help? I explained the basics, my voice shaking but determined. I have proof my mother faked my father's will. I need to contest it. He agreed to meet the next day. Driving away from that house, the betrayal solidified into resolve. I would expose them no matter the cost. The next morning, I met Kevin Sullivan at his office downtown, a small suite in a brick building near the state capitol. He was sharp-dressed in a gray suit, mid-40s, with a no-nonsense demeanor that put me at ease amid the chaos. Tell me everything. He said, notepad ready, as I handed over the documents, the letter, the original will, and the insurance policy. I recounted the dinner confrontation, Mom's threats, and Michelle's silence, my voice steady but edged with fury. Kevin scanned the papers, his brow furrowing. This looks like potential fraud. The signatures don't match public records I can pull, and the letter could be key evidence if authenticated. Contesting a will in Wisconsin probate court takes time, but with this we might fast-track an investigation into the insurance claim too. He outlined the steps: hiring a handwriting expert, filing a motion to freeze assets like the house, and gathering witness statements. Gregory Ward's name pops up. I'll dig into his background. If there's an affair or conspiracy, it could turn criminal. I nodded, the plan taking shape. I want her exposed, Kevin. She can't get away with this. He warned about costs, retainer fee of $5,000, but agreed to a payment plan given my situation. Leaving his office, I felt a spark of control for the first time since the eviction. From there, I crashed at Holly Bennett's apartment, a cozy one-bedroom near the community center where we both volunteered. Holly, my best friend since college, didn't hesitate when I called her last night. Stay as long as you need, she said, helping me unload the garbage bags into her spare room. Over coffee that afternoon, I spilled the full story: the forged will, the suspected affair, Mom's role in Dad's death. Holly's eyes widened. That's insane, Danielle. But revenge. Are you sure it could blow up in your face? She was conflicted, her loyalty to me clashing with her aversion to drama, but she offered practical help using her connections at the local library to research old news clippings about Dad's accident. Unintentionally, she leaked a key detail a mutual acquaintance mentioned seeing Gregory Ward at Mom's office recently, which gave Kevin a lead to subpoena records. "I didn't mean to stir things," Holly admitted later, but it fueled the investigation. To keep my head straight, I scheduled sessions with Dr. Ellen Gray, a therapist specializing in family trauma, referred by the community center's counselor. Our first meeting was in her quiet office overlooking Lake Mendota, where I unpacked the betrayal. "This anger is valid," Dr. Gray said, "but channeling it productively is key. Revenge can consume you. Let's build strategies to stay grounded." She taught breathing techniques for anxiety spikes and journaling to track emotions, helping me separate the plan from blind rage. "Visualize the outcome," she advised during one session. "Justice, not destruction." It worked somewhat, but the sessions also surfaced guilt. Had I missed signs growing up, Dr. Gray pushed back. "You were a child. Focus on reclaiming your power now." Amid the plodding life demanded balance. I scouted apartments online, settling on a studio near the University District, $900 a month basic, but mine with a small balcony for sketching. Moving in took a weekend, Holly helping haul boxes, while I ignored Mom's missed calls. At work, the art program's success paid off. My boss promoted me to coordinator, adding $8,000 to my annual salary and more flexible hours for personal matters. I threw myself into planning the next workshop teaching teens about expression through mixed media, which mirrored my own need to process the turmoil. Justin Parker. The guy I'd been seeing casually from the center's staff grew concerned as I shared bits of the plan over dinner one night. "This sounds dark, Danielle. Digging up your dad's death, suing your mom, it's heavy. What if it changes you?" His warning hit home. Justin was steady, a graphic designer who valued peace over conflict. "I'm not backing down," I told him. "She threatened to ruin me. I have to fight." He nodded but added, "Just don't lose sight of who you are in the process." His doubts mirrored Holly's, but they motivated me to refine the strategy with Kevin. Over the next weeks, the pieces fell into place. Kevin confirmed the will's forgery through an expert report and traced Gregory Ward to a nearby town where he ran a shady consulting firm. Subpoenas revealed emails between him and Mom discussing policy adjustments before Dad's accident. "This could prove conspiracy," Kevin said in our third meeting. "We'll file the contest next month, but start with a demand letter to freeze the house sale." Holly's accidental tip led to a witness, a former colleague of Mom's, who confirmed the affair started months before Dad died. Dr. Gray helped me rehearse confrontations, role-playing how to stay calm if Michelle reached out. Justin's unease grew, but he stuck around, offering support during late-night talks. By the end of the month, the plan was solid: gather irrefutable proof, then expose through a local investigative reporter Kevin knew. I reviewed the timeline with him one evening. Demand letter first, then lawsuit if ignored, parallel with tipping off authorities on the insurance fraud. "This will hit hard," Kevin warned. "Family ties might sever forever." I agreed, but the fire inside burned brighter. With everything aligned, I was ready to launch the first strike. With the demand letter drafted and sent via certified mail, the first move landed like a bomb. Kevin Sullivan had worded it perfectly, demanding Janet produce the original insurance records and halt any house sale or face a lawsuit for fraud and will contestation. I hit send on the initial expose that same day, posting an anonymous thread on a local Madison forum linked to social media groups for estate law and family disputes. Suspected will forgery and insurance scam in local family evidence points to cover-up of husband's death. I wrote attaching blurred scans of the letter and policy discrepancies, tagging reporters from the Wisconsin State Journal. The post gained traction overnight with comments pouring in from strangers sharing similar stories. By morning, a journalist named Lisa Ramirez emailed me through a burner account Kevin set up. "This could be big if verifiable," she said. I met her at a coffee shop near the university handing over copies of the documents minus sensitive details. "My mother faked my father's will to cut me out and possibly orchestrated his accident for the payout." I explained, my voice low but firm. Lisa promised discretion until publication, but the story broke online 2 days later. Madison woman accused of estate fraud in late husband's death. The article detailed the forged signatures, the hidden letter, and hinted at Gregory Ward's involvement without naming him yet. The leak about the affair came next timed for maximum impact. Kevin had uncovered emails from Gregory's old firm server showing flirtatious messages with Janet months before Dad's accident. I forwarded them to Lisa anonymously, adding a tip about Gregory's current address in a neighboring town. The updated article exploded, "Affair and conspiracy new evidence in Madison fraud case." Social media lit up neighbors' church friends, and Michelle's colleagues shared the link tagging Janet in comments like, "Is this true?" and "Shameful if proven." Janet's phone must have blown up. I got a frantic voicemail from her that night. "Danielle, what have you done? This is ruining me. Call it off." I deleted it without responding, the satisfaction mixing with a twinge of unease. Michelle reached out the following day, her text reading, "We need to talk. Mom's a mess." I agreed to meet at a neutral park bench near the lake, where she showed up looking exhausted, no makeup, clutching a coffee cup. "Why drag this public, Danielle?" "Couldn't we handle it privately?" she asked, her voice pleading. I laid out the evidence again. "You knew about the will, Michelle. You chose her side for the money. Now choose, help me or stay out." She hesitated, admitting, "I suspected the affair years ago, but Mom said it was nothing. The will, I thought it was legal." Under pressure, Michelle revealed a key detail she'd seen Gregory at the house, recently discussing selling assets quietly. It was the break Kevin needed to subpoena Gregory as a witness. But Michelle balked at testifying. "If I side with you, it destroys our family forever." She chose to protect Mom, walking away with a final warning, "You'll regret this." Her conflict was clear, the sister who always followed rules now torn, but her loyalty won out for now. Justin grew distant as the scandal escalated. Over dinner at my new studio, he confronted me. "This isn't you, Danielle. Exposing your mom's affair online, it's vicious. Stop or lose me. I can't watch you become consumed by hate." His ultimatum stung. Justin had been my anchor, the one who made me laugh amid the stress. "It's Justice Justin. She threatened to destroy me first." He shook his head. "Justice doesn't mean stooping to her level." The tension built our dates, turning into arguments about ethics versus revenge. I pushed forward anyway, coordinating with Kevin on the official filing. The lawsuit hit the courts a week later, accusing Janet of fraud, forgery, and potential manslaughter conspiracy tied to the insurance. Gregory was named as co-defendant, his firm raided for records. The news cycle amplified it. Local TV ran segments interviewing neighbors who recalled odd behavior after Dad's death. As the pieces fell, I monitored from afar. Janet's social profiles went private. Her church group distanced themselves, and word spread that her job suspended her pending investigation. Michelle stopped texting, likely caught in the crossfire. The high of progress clashed with Justin's growing silence. He canceled plans twice, his messages short. Kevin called with an update. Gregory's cracking he wants a deal, might testify against Janet. It was the turning point, but Dr. Gray's words echoed in sessions. Revenge feels empowering now, but count the costs. I brushed it off, focusing on the end game. The scandal was everywhere now, Janet's reputation in tatters, and the first court hearing loomed. The hearing unfolded in a sterile Madison courtroom, packed with reporters and curious locals drawn by the scandal's buzz. Kevin Sullivan presented the evidence like a masterstroke. The handwriting expert's report confirming the forgery, Gregory Ward's sworn deposition admitting to the affair, and Janet's pressure to alter the insurance policy and bank records showing suspicious transfers post-accident. Gregory had flipped for a plea deal detailing how Janet orchestrated the accident to claim the $250,000 payout, faking the will to secure the house. She said it was for the girl's future. He testified, avoiding Janet's glare from the defendant's table. Michelle sat in the back row, her face a mask of conflict, but she refused to speak for either side, her earlier loyalty to Mom now a silent regret. The judge ruled swiftly the will was invalidated. The house and remaining assets reverted to me and Michelle per Dad's original intent, and criminal charges for fraud and conspiracy were recommended. Janet's bail was set high. She left in handcuffs, her reputation shattered beyond repair, fired from her job, shunned by friends, her church group issuing a public disavowal. Michelle called once after the verdict, her voice breaking. "You won, Danielle. But at what cost? Mom's broken, and I can't forgive you for dragging us through this." I tried to explain. "She dragged us into it years ago, Michelle. You chose her side." She hung up, and that was it. Radio silence, since her social media blocking me, our sisterly bond severed like an old thread. The win felt hollow. Dividing the assets meant selling the house anyway, with proceeds split after legal fees. I walked away with $120,000, enough for stability, but the emotional toll mounted. Justin delivered the final blow over coffee at my studio a week later. "I can't do this anymore, Danielle. Watching you orchestrate that takedown, it changed you. The anger, the obsession, it's not the woman I fell for." His eyes were sad but firm. "I warned you, stop or lose me. You didn't stop." I pleaded. "It was justice, Justin. She deserved it." He shook his head. "Maybe, but you lost yourself in it. Goodbye." The door closed softly, leaving me alone with the echo of his words. Dr. Gray had predicted this in our sessions. Revenge satisfies momentarily, but the void afterward is real. She was right. The high faded into isolation nights spent staring at the ceiling, questioning if exposing the truth was worth the ruins. Legally, I triumphed. The probate court awarded me the full share, and Janet's trial loomed with prosecutors building a manslaughter case based on Gregory's testimony. But the Pyrrhic victory weighed heavy family ties, obliterated Justin gone, even Holly distancing herself with concerned texts about my intensity. Revenge had brought justice, restoring Dad's legacy and my inheritance, but at the price of everything else. The emptiness gnawed, a reminder that some battles scar the winner most. 6 months later, I stood in the living room of my new condo in Madison, a small but bright space I bought with my share of Dad's inheritance. The $120,000 from the house sale after legal fees covered the down payment and left enough to furnish it clean lines, bold colors, a corner for my easel where I sketched again, something I hadn't done freely since college. My job as program coordinator at the community center had blossomed. I was leading a citywide art initiative for teens with grant funding doubling my budget. The work kept me grounded, a reminder I could create something good out of pain. I started a blog sharing advice for others, facing family betrayals, tips on navigating probate disputes, setting boundaries, and rebuilding after loss. Comments poured in from people across the country, their stories mirroring mine, families torn apart by greed or secrets. It wasn't just catharsis. It connected me to a community I didn't know I needed. One afternoon, while grabbing coffee near campus, I ran into Michelle. She looked worn, her usual polished look replaced by jeans and a tired expression. "Danielle," she said, hesitating, "can we talk?" We sat at a corner table, the air heavy. She admitted the scandal had upended her life. Her marriage strained under the public shame, her job on shaky ground. "I should have spoken up about Mom's lies," she said softly. "I was scared of losing everything." I listened, my heart softening, but guarded. "I wanted justice, Michelle, not to hurt you, but you chose silence." She nodded, tears welling. "I know. I'm sorry. It wasn't enough to rebuild trust, but it opened a door, just a crack." We exchanged numbers, agreeing to small steps, maybe a text now and then, but I kept my distance, protecting the peace I'd fought for. Dating felt impossible after Justin left, but a new colleague, Ryan, changed that. He was a photographer volunteering at the center, easygoing and unjudgmental. Over late-night talks about art and life, I shared my story. "You did what you had to," he said. No lecture, just understanding. It was a fresh start, one I approached cautiously, learning from the past, to value connection over conflict. Dr. Gray's sessions continued, helping me process the emptiness left by revenge. "You reclaimed your truth," she said in our last meeting, "but now define yourself beyond it." Looking back, I realized revenge brought justice, but at a steep price. Exposing Mom's fraud restored Dad's legacy and my rightful share, but it cost me family love and part of my old self. Mom's trial ended with a 5-year sentence for fraud. Gregory got 3 for conspiracy. I felt no joy, only closure. The lesson was clear. Justice doesn't always mean happiness, I wrote in my blog. Revenge gave me back what was stolen, but it took away people I cared about. If you're facing a family that dims your worth, set boundaries, protect your peace, even if it means walking away. It's not weakness, it's strength. To anyone listening, I say this: don't let betrayal define you. Choose yourself, but know the cost of every fight. Thank you for hearing my story. If it resonates, share your thoughts below. What time is it where you are, and how have you faced tough choices? Hit like, subscribe, and let's keep exploring these journeys together.